Hi, everyone. Good evening. Sorry for the abrupt ending to the song. I haven't yet figured out how to start live stream on Facebook and also bring the music down all at once. So, welcome to our Valentine's Day and Essential Oils class. This is going to be a fun one, and I'm so excited because tonight I'm going to be teaching this class with my partner in crime and my best buddy, my mom, Sonia. And so I'm adding her to the screen here. And let's see. I would like to do a duo live. So let's do add spotlight. There we go. Okay. So we're going to do this class together. And I'm just so excited to do this with you, Mom. Thanks for saying yes today when I was like, hey, Mom. So while some people might think, oh, isn't that a little weird to teach that with your mom? Yeah, it's a little weird. I totally get that too. But we're just going to roll with it. And I'm going to start this off. And I'm actually going to address a side of this that is more common than we would like to think, but really relevant. And yeah, this is the emotional side of this. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my little notes. So I want to share a personal story about releasing emotional blockages. Okay. So when I was, I guess it was probably about a year ago now, I realized that I had some vulnerability issues and I had no idea that this was so common. And it was actually prohibiting me from having like this like vulnerable and true relationship with my husband. And, the Valentine's Day is just, usually we all kind of know what we're talking about, code for, right? And I didn't know that I was kind of reserved. I didn't know that I wasn't just able to fully step into that vulnerability. And so here's how it came about. I decided to do this thing called the Feelings Kit protocol. And the Feelings Kit it's like a set of oils that's specifically designed to go into your limbic system for the part of your brain that kind of deals with hormones and emotion and memory. And it kind of does almost like a cleanse for that area. And so people have these crazy things. Some people use the oils and they're like, oh my gosh, I felt wildly sick. Like I've known people who felt literally nauseous when they're using these oils. I know other people who have cried like a lot using them. Well, what happened for me, I could not even believe what had happened, but let me just say that it opened me up in a way that I didn't even know was possible. And my relationship, specifically in an intimate setting with my husband, got like 1,000 times better. And when it first started happening, I was like, wait, what is going on? Like, what in the world? What is happening? And then I was like cracking up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I literally used the Feelings Kit and I was on day 10. And I told my husband, I'm like, this is insane. This is insane. I've heard people talk about life transformations with Feelings Kit, but I had no idea that I was holding back and I was so reserved emotionally. And I was like not being really able to step into my true self. So yeah, I just wanted to share that because you know what, it's like a real thing. And a lot of women, I think we have this society where there's so much expectation and there's just so much like what we're supposed to be, and we have maybe past trauma in that world. And you know what, there's a way to cleanse that, and I just wanted to share that. So let's talk about yeah, like how emotions can contribute to chronic pain, because that's another thing too, is there's a significant amount of women who struggle in this area because of maybe like their pelvic floor is locked up, or they're storing emotions. So emotions are energy that's meant to move through our body in response to the events in our lives. And so the emotions are coming in, they're supposed to help us process, they're supposed to help us learn from and like let go of our experiences. But here's the deal, when emotions are flowing in this way, they not only help us move through stressful experiences more easily, they contribute to our health and well-being. And if they're released properly, they don't create physical tension or chronic pain. Problems come, and I know we can kind of all raise our hand in some way. Problems come when we suppress those emotions. And this usually happens when the brain learns that we're like through trauma or negative experiences that certain emotions are a threat to us. So maybe vulnerability is one. And so like, oh, that's a threat. I don't want to be vulnerable because when I'm vulnerable, then I get taken advantage of. And when that happens, our brain and our body will work to protect us from those emotions by actually suppressing them. And so they stop the emotional flow. So it's like, let's say anger, like anger is supposed to move through you, but you're like, oh, I can't act out and I can't like I can't like yell or whatever, so I'm just gonna like bury it deep. So somehow we have to figure out how to neutralize those emotions, and if we don't, what happens is we become tense and contracted in our muscles. And so here's kind of a way that we can practice this. Like if you I had like a little maybe I didn't do that. Okay, so to give you an idea of we can do this little experiment together. So contract your bicep and nothing like too intense, like don't hurt yourself, but just kind of like gently engage the muscle. Now imagine keeping that like that for a full 24 hours. Your muscle would be so tired and tense. Now imagine like multiplying that by like weeks or months or years. And at some point it's going to get uncomfortable and eventually it's going to be painful. So that's kind of why a lot of people can have like a physical problem when they're holding stress or trauma in their body, and it can be manifesting in like their pelvic floor. So for that, I actually have a friend, her name's Amanda Fisher. She's with Empower Your Pelvis. You can look them up on Instagram, but she does amazing work with the like physiological side, but then emotional side needs to be addressed. I believe needs to be addressed if that's why that's coming. So the first thing that you can do, here's how essential oils come into play. When a scent is inhaled, the odor molecules travel up the nostrils into the olfactory bulb, and this receives the information and processes the information and transmits it to the limbic system, which is inside the amygdala. And this is where all of the emotional memories are stored. So I already shared kind of my my experience with the feelings kit. That was like crazy, right? And I was blown away and I couldn't even believe it unlocked things that I didn't even know were locked up. So here's what we're going to do. When we're talking about oils and Valentine's Day, we wanted to throw this in there to kind of give a little bit more depth. We're going to totally go into like the fun side. My mom's going to take that side. But I wanted to just kind of teach you really quickly how to neutralize emotions with essential oils so that if you are dealing with some of these things, you can have some results. So what you're going to do is you're going to get an essential oil and you're going to identify and feel the emotion that you're feeling. So let's say that you're feeling like, you're holding back. Like that's the emotion, you're holding back. And the essential oil that you could use for that, it's called release. So you would identify and feel the emotion, you would smell release oil, and then you would just take it in and let the essential oil, and you'll know what I mean. If you've ever put essential oils, like Young Living essential oils, in your palms and you breathe it in, it's not just I can smell it situation. You can actually feel it in your body. That's kind of what sets Young Living apart. So you're going to feel it in your body. And then I want you to feel that emotion. So feel held back. Just think of all the experiences that you can think of that you're held back. Think of like just that held back energy, like get that energy in your body. So your body's actually feeling the held back energy, and then breathe out and then feel the opposite of that emotion. So think of every time in your body, in your life, where you felt completely free. Maybe you were a kid and you're running around on the beach, or you're like, just so, I don't know, like just devouring an ice cream cone as a 2-year-old or whatever. Like just feel that feeling of like what it's like to just completely unleash. And what that's doing is cleansing that emotional pattern and neutralizing that pattern. So if you're not familiar with the science, and I'm not going to go into it a lot because we don't have time for it, essential oils have frequency just like we have frequency. The higher frequency we are as people, you walk into a room and you're like, oh my gosh, that person, I feel so good around them. Like they're just high vibing. Like you can just feel their energy. My goal is to be that for people. Maybe you've had an opposite situation where you've been around someone and you're like, oh, I just kind of don't like the way I feel around them. You're feeling their frequency. It's at the actual speed at which their neurons are traveling around the atoms of their cells. Like that's not you just making it up. That's your intuition feeling that. So we're learning right now how to clear those emotions so that you can neutralize them and they don't manifest in the body, specifically for this class in your pelvic floor. So I'm going to give you a few common emotions you might be feeling. Holding back, a great oil for that is release. Rejection, if you're dealing with feelings of rejection, peace, and calming. Same process for each one. If you're feeling overwhelmed, lavender is a great one. If you're feeling a lack of confidence in your body, same process with valor. If you're feeling frantic energy, same process, frankincense. If you're feeling scared, a really great oil, and it's actually in the feelings kit as well, is inner child. Okay, for specifically healing feminine energy, joy, and ylang ylang. Ylang ylang is an oil that is the funniest oil to say, but you're going to see that it's for neutralizing female and male energy. So healing feminine energy, ylang ylang and joy, and for healing masculine energy, Shutron and ylang ylang. So I know that was really quick. Those are just some, hey, here's an overarching, here's like what some things, are typical. I'll post that in the chat of both the Facebook Live and the Zoom as well. And now we're going to move into hormone balance. So another reason people cannot live to their fullest potential in this area is hormone imbalance. So for her, usually it's a progesterone problem. And for that, I suggest Progestins Plus. I cannot suggest this more than I am. I'm like, yes, use Progestins Plus. Personal experience, I've done my labs to see before and after. I noticed for me that when I was using Progestins Plus on my wrist, my labs did not change significantly. When I started doing 2 drops morning and night under my tongue sublingually, that's when my labs were astronomically different. So Progestins Plus for her, it will, for a lot of women, it increases their libido. It helps them feel way more alert. It helps them feel more confident. It helps them feel, honestly, even like less bloated. There's a lot of things that Progestins Plus can do. And then estrogen regulation. This would be for someone who is having way too high of estrogen as well. Google the symptoms of that. They look very similar to PCOS. PCOS is actually caused by estrogen dominance. So you want to regulate that. That's going to be with clary sage or any essential oil with clary sage in it. And as a supplement for hormone balance, I recommend to every woman that has a hormone imbalance, Femigen. It is an amazing supplement to take for hormone balance. And you know what? If you don't have hormone balance, like this Valentine's Day activity becomes extremely hard, right? And it's not right. You can feel that when you have hormone balance, it's completely different. So I'm very passionate about this because it affects every area of your life. Okay, now for men, for hormone issues, for low testosterone, which is a typical problem, Shutron is an essential oil that is just amazing for the men. And we recommend you put he applied 2 to 4 drops topically. And that is going to just make a huge difference in the world. Shutron has an oil in it called Idaho Blue Spruce. Idaho Blue Spruce is specifically, there have been studies done that show when you use Idaho Blue Spruce, testosterone increases. And so just recommend that. And then last but not least, as a supplement for men, if they are under the age of 40, we recommend Power Dries. And if they are dealing with erectile dysfunction, there are 2 oils, and it's goldenrod and cypress. And we've heard firsthand accounts from people who were really struggling with this, and it's changed their life because now they can have that relationship with their spouse or their loved one, and it's not just a burden anymore, and it can be enjoyable and fun. So those are the oils. I'll put those in the chat, and Mama, I'm going to pass it over to you. Hey, Mom, you're muted. Sorry.
Okay, am I unmuted now? Let's see. Okay, great. Thanks for laying the groundwork of that, Bethany, because I think honestly, every oil that we could douse ourselves in, nothing is going to take the place of a strong emotional, physical existence. And I heard today, I heard it said that essential oils are nature's living energy. And I thought, how perfect is this, that nature's living energy is used in probably the this arena, the culmination of energy and life and connection, deep abiding connection. And so to me, it's really more than just a physical act. Obviously, I think we can talk about pleasuring more sufficiently and things like that, but really having that emotional grounding, using the feelings kit to really do some hard work. And even if you could do it together, I think that would just be phenomenal. So get your oils out. So we're going to talk about lubrication, number 1, because no matter what age you are, if you're looking to be comfortable, have great sexual experience, You want to have some kind of lubrication, and you don't want to be just going to the drugstore and getting what's off the shelf. So my suggestion is, I love the Cellulite Magic Oil for skin, but there's also one that is Sensation. I've used both of them. I love them a lot. And everybody that's ever used it just has so many great things to say about it. There's also Sensation shower gel. There's lotion. So you could choose to use one of these as kind of like your basis of what you're going to use topically. And let's talk about that for a minute, because a lot of people ask the question, hey, you're going to talk about these oils, like, where do you put it? Like, and I've gone back and forth in conversation with people who feel kind of weird, like where do you actually put it on everything? And so really a good rule to follow is to start with a good old amount of carrier oil. And start maybe on the inner thighs for both of you, lower abdomen and inner thighs. Start there, apply the oils there first and see how you feel. And then you can move on to your, more private regions. So, but whatever you do not just take the oil straight and put it down there, because you might just have one hysterical, emotional situation that you weren't banking on for Valentine's Day. So one of the things that Bethany mentioned was the oils like Joy and Ylang Ylang. And so start with oils for you, for women. Start with those floral oils that are also very mood supporting, but they're also really, really good to put on. Again, start with the inner thighs, but you can use it elsewhere as long as you have a carrier oil. You just don't want to overwhelm. Just a little goes a long way. Just especially if you have a good carrier oil like Young Living's. And this is, again, Cellulite Magic. This has a lot of citrus in it. If you're using latex anything for preventing pregnancy, you won't want to use this because it'll break it down. The D-limonene in that citrus oil is going to break down the latex. So noted. Make sure you kind of think about that. So the other thing you can do is combine the oil. So let's say you were thinking not just mood or things like Joy and Ylang Ylang are kind of sweet. Maybe you want something kind of a little spicy. You could even grab black pepper oil and peppermint, one being warm, one being hot. Add a good dose, and I'm talking about like maybe a drop of each of those oils with a good amount of coconut oil or Cellulite Magic or lotion, Sensation lotion, to use that as a personal lubricant. One drop. So black pepper and peppermint. One is spicy, one is cool, one is hot. You could do it with nutmeg and spearmint. So you could play around with this, but yeah, you've seen the commercials, of the his and hers, the KY jelly. It's kind of like that idea, except you're just doing it in a natural version, a natural form. So, I mean, I think the fun thing is that you can play around with this and you can play around together, and it doesn't have to be something that is, go low and slow kind of thing first and experiment together. And that will be even more enriching. Okay. So for him, the oils that you're going to want to put together, Shutron, Northern Lights Black Spruce or Idaho Blue Spruce. You could do the Goldenrod and Mister as well. And like Bethany mentioned, Goldenrod, you do not have to have erectile dysfunction for your man to really benefit from using Goldenrod and Cypress and Spruce. Those are really helpful for circulation. Those could even be used for you, women, if you have any issues in that, getting excited and maybe you're kind of like a little bit slower in that area. You could also do some circulation helps as well. So, and again, doing it together is going to be way more fun. And I think bonding, for sure. So anything that is going to be increasing the circulatory system and supporting that is going to be helpful for both of you. Don't think of it like you have to have a problem before you enter into this world, because really it's more about enhancing what already is great. I think that was the thing that was kind of shocking to me, is that there was not a problem, but it was just a really, really amazing to have the benefit. So let me make sure. One other thing I wanted to mention here. Let's see. the black pepper. Okay, got that. Joy, ylang ylang. I lost my notes for a second. Let's see if I can get there. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what I was going to say is Mister. Mister is one that was formulated for men specifically. And if you're gentlemen, or I don't know if there are men here, but if you have any issues with a prostate issue, Mister is going to be helpful, as well as the prostate health that Bethany mentioned. Anything that has to do with that prostate, urinary tract. And for women, as you age, Bethany already mentioned the hormone protocols, but again, these oils, we're not trying to do something topically without addressing your overall health. It's really just amazing synergy when you think about how to support your hormones naturally, and then add on these oils as that really big punch for just an amazing experience together. That's all I had. Bethany, back to you.
Okay, cool. Well, I am nursing a baby who is literally pooping right now. So with that, I will just say, you know what? If you have any questions, one of my favorite things is, oh, sorry, Mom, I'm seeing now. Okay. One of the things that's my favorite thing to do is, like, when in doubt, Pinterest it out. Go on Pinterest, look at some recipes, find some things to try. And oh, thanks, Melinda. I was hearing the baby cry in the other room. I'm like, bring her to me. No, but there's no rules. It's just something that we're exploring with. So thank you guys for joining tonight, and have a wonderful Valentine's Day. We'll chat soon. Bye-bye.